said that Beyonce was a terrorist. And when you listen to the entire thing, it's more of being a terrorist, not in terms of like, crossing the lines to go into Syria and join ISIS, but it's much more about an image terrorist for women, it seems to me, and to terrorize the idea of what it is to be a woman, to take one of these many different possibilities that we were just talking about and then to turn it into the example, which then people find oppressive. That was the argument. But you are there, and can you just talk a little bit about how you heard it?
Yeah. So the talk was called "Are You Still a Slave? Liberating the Black Female Body." So it was about images and possibilities of liberation for Black women. And there were 4 people participating. There was, besides bell hooks, in addition to bell hooks, the total 4.
And on that stage was represented all these different types of gender combinations that we were talking about, right?
Exactly.
And different ideas of what it is to be a woman, or whether or not that is even an appropriate designation at all. Like, there was a lot going on.
There was a lot going on, exactly. And so they all, not only were they speaking about it, they were embodying it.
That's right.
Yeah, so it was a powerful group of people up there.
Mm-hmm.
So the discussion was about, yes, what kinds of images are in the media, and Bell Hooks was saying that she didn't find any kind of liberating images in the media. They were always the kind of women who were objectified, showing their boobs and their butt, and that these were actually nothing different than what it meant to be earlier a slave, that you had to kind of serve your master in particular ways, that you had to be objectified, that you had no power of your own.
That's right.
And she said, I still see it everywhere. For instance, look at the image of Beyonce on the cover of Time in this kind of little underwear set and so on. And that is just oppressive, right? she didn't find it liberating in any way. Janet Mock challenged her by saying, well, I think Beyonce has control over what she chooses to wear and how she wants to present herself.
Right.
And Marcy Blackman said, maybe she's taking these same images and giving them back to us, in some ways challenging them with a little extra, and shoving them in our face. This is what you want to see. Well, I want to show you, but in this particular glamorous form, right? And Bell Hooks was having none of it. She just said, oh, well, if you think that's liberating you, that's fantasy. That's just fantasy. And in this kind of context, she called Beyonce a terrorist, meaning that she creates the image for all young girls. And you have to be that, or you're not attractive, you're not valuable, you have no worth, right? So she certainly didn't mean it in any sense of any other political action, but it was about what responsibility does Beyonce have as somebody who is in the media, who is one of the most famous women out there now, and the riches. And this was something that Bell Hooks really focused on, was saying we're looking at her because she's rich, and that has to be incredible. That has to be taken into account. She's Black, but she's also rich.
Right, and that would we really care about her in the same way, because if she were poor, right? If she were a poor woman, it is because she has been able to accrue vast wealth with this image that we then find this fascination, and in that she then begins to be the source of emulation.
Exactly.
And one of the interesting things to me about Beyonce, just as an image, is the way in which, in some ways, she has as her style model the Barbarella model of Jane Fonda, right? Tall woman, scantily clothed, powerful, but at the same time very sexual in a way that is appealing to men.
Yeah.
And that's in many ways what she reinforces. And as we talked about, that can be one type of feminism, right? Maybe a more liberal feminist model where she's within and accepting a gender role is able to be very powerful within that. But that's still in no way basically challenging the basic structure or the way things are set up for most women and the way they have to experience and navigate the world.
Yes, exactly. I mean, I think Bell Hooks, her motto, her kind of her phrase is that we're living in an imperialist, white supremacist, capitalist patriarchy.
Right.
And her question
It's a mouthful. She should come up with an acronym, right?
Yeah, it just
An IPC. I don't know what it is.
Exactly. You have to say each time because each time it's in your face, it
Right.
it feels heavy, which it is, right?
Yeah.
And so her question was, how does Beyonce challenge that?
Right.
It doesn't, right? It doesn't challenge. Certainly, it doesn't challenge the capitalist part. It doesn't necessarily challenge the imperialist part either. White supremacist, not at all. It just feels like at each of those things, she can be a strong woman out there, but she's a woman in the sense that all those things require her to be.